So before I became a designer, I was actually a teacher. And I was a teacher because I needed a day job. I really wanted to play music. So armed with a BA in English, I moved to Orlando, Florida, and I became a teacher. So during the day, I would teach high school English, and at night, I would go play gigs. So after my first year of teaching, my supervising principal, she called me in and she said, "Robyn, what are you doing?" And I was like, uh-oh, I don't know. She said, "Your students' test scores are fantastic." She's like, "I want to know what you're doing in the classroom." And the truth was, I didn't have a pedagogical answer. I didn't have an official sounding answer because I treated teaching like a gig. I had a captive audience of a really tough crowd for 6 hours every day, and I had to connect with them. I had to go in and change the way that they thought about the world. And sometimes after class, students would come up to me and they would say, "Miss, I didn't even look at the textbook today, but just from you speaking, I got it. I know so much." And they'd leave. And sometimes after shows, people would come up to see me and say, "Purple guitar girl," because I had a purple guitar. "That lyric that you wrote about Helios in the sky as the sunset has changed my perspective. I love it. You're the best. Woo." So it turns out I kind of had a knack for this affecting the way people thought thing. And I liked it. I loved to connect with people. So when I found out about design thinking, I was like, I want to sign up for this revolution. I want to change the way people think in this really important, big, revolutionary way. So design thinking was about taking this practice of thinking and applying it everywhere, applying it in any sphere or discipline so that you could innovate your products or your services or your offerings. So I signed up. I signed up to join the revolution. I went to graduate school to study this formally. And like a good student, I got all the books and read all the articles, and I downloaded the toolkits, and you know what I got? I got mad. I got so mad. As an educator, I was like, where's my lesson? I've read all these things. I'm going through all the literature. I was calling my friends. I was like, what is this design thinking about? I'm so mad at it. Because everybody talked about it a little bit differently. Everybody had a different framework or a different language. And so, as the educator, I'm going, where's my lesson? As a musician, I was like, dude, where's my hook? Where's that thing that I can take with me so I can walk down the street and sing about it? That's what I wanted. I wanted that hook to take away. So I thought about this, and it really bothered me. But after becoming a designer, I realized it was my turn to fill in the holes, because I think that in trying to be for everybody, design thinking kind of muddied the waters. So as your educator and as your entertainer and now as your designer today, I want to translate it to you, because it's time to evolve design thinking forward so that you can take it home and you can use it. So get out your pens. It's time for a lesson. And there might be a quiz at the end. So the first thing you need for design thinking is a blank surface. It can be a table. It can be a whiteboard. It can be a piece of paper. That's fine, whatever you've got. The first thing you're going to do, and this is what all designers do, is they represent their ideas. They get them out of their head. Because chances are the way you practice thinking is you think. And you drive around town and you think about it. And you go to dinner and you think about it. And then you have a beer and you think about it some more. Design doesn't do that. Design says, let's take what's inside and put it outside. And you're probably thinking, I don't know how to do that. But that's a lie. Because your 6-year-old self would be like, awesome, sweet. Give me some crayons. Give me some markers. Give me some clay. Because when we're young, we have every medium we can think about to represent the world around us. And it gets smaller and smaller and smaller until you're left with a pencil. And we say, solve an equation or write an essay. And that's how you problem solve. So I'm giving you permission to take back your mediums. Pick up a pencil and draw a picture. Take a picture. Take a picture of what you think the problem is and represent it on your blank surface. Do it as much as you can. The next thing you're going to do is start to rearrange these things. You're going to arrange your ideas to see how they fit together. Now, one of the things that we all do really well as human beings, as a species of living on this earth for thousands of years, is we're really great at seeing patterns. We're really good at seeing anomalies and contrasts and consistencies. So once you get this idea out of your head and you have it in front of you, you can go, oh, that is not connected to that the way I thought it was, but it's totally connected to this over here. And you'll have a brain high five. You'll be like, yes, I'm starting to get it. And the last thing that you'll do is you'll step back and you'll reframe. You'll say, I started with this problem here, and I represented it, and then I arranged it, and now what's my reframe? What do I know now? And I'm going to caution you, beware of your biases at this point. Beware of what you think you know. Don't be the congratulation committee. And we know who those guys are because we've worked with them before, where Bob's like, Rob, come in here. I've got this problem. I laid it out. This is how it works. What do you think? And he goes, you are a genius, sir. Yes, an absolute genius. And everyone's like, yes. And they think, they're the congratulation committee. But you know what? Bring in Sally from down the hall, who you don't always agree with because she's in accounting and she's persnickety. If Bob and Rob... I love accountants. My sister's an accountant. So bring them in, and if Bob and Rob are really smart, and they've really done a great job of solving this problem, Sally will be able to walk in and say, you know what? You guys are right. You did solve that. That's exactly how it works. And Bob and Rob will give themselves high fives, affirming their genius. But she might say, actually, guys, I think you missed a part. I think you should include this here and change it a little bit. And in a fit of maturity, they might be like, what does Sally know? Sally doesn't know anything about engineering. We're brilliant. But if they're innovators, they'll say, oh, Sally, you're right. We totally missed that. We totally missed that. Stay with us. Work on this problem with us. Because the innovation in design thinking happens when it's a team sport. When you invite other people into the room who don't necessarily agree with you. Steve Jobs said, get the most ornery person in this room, and we're going to make something that pleases them. And if you do that, if you make thinking a practice and you make it a team sport, that's when you start to innovate. And then Steve Jobs goes, well, come bless you in what you're making. So go home today, go home this afternoon, and start to try this. Represent your ideas, arrange them around, and reframe what you think you know. Call me. If it works or doesn't work, call me. I want to know, because I'm so sure, and I've done this so often, that I know it will change the way you practice thinking. Because thinking is not magic, it's a practice. And if I can do design thinking, then I know you can too. Let's evolve it forward. Thank you very much.